Alright, hey guys, this is Druin. I'm here to sort of show a walkthrough of my, it's not really mine, but of the route that I use for my Tempest Rush XP farming that I use to get to Paragon level 100. Woo! I actually just hit it about a couple hours ago, so I'm doing all this filming right now, so hopefully I can get this guide out as fast as possible, which is what I said I would do. So, first thing you're going to want to do is not be on Monster Power 10. You're going to have no Monster Power, and you're going to be on Inferno difficulty. And then you're going to want to go to Act 3, Heart of Sin, Kill Asmodan. Select Quest. Alright. So, the very first time you run you do the route, you're going to start in town like this. Oop, better get my Templar out. Let's get that guy. Alright, so Templar, generally the way to go. Depends on how much spirit regen you have. As you can see, I'm running 10.85 spirit regen, and then I aura up with Chant of Resonance. So I guess I'll go through all this. Okay, so here's my stats. I'm running full all resist gear, which I'm very proud of. I have really bad critical hit chance. It's not really bad, but it could be way better. I'm trying to get it up, working on it. I have 1.2 attacks per second, which means Tempest Rush. Oh, I probably didn't change that. Hilarious. I was doing some mechanic stuff before. Which means Tempest Rush costs 12 spirit per second to channel, and I regen 13.79, which means I actually regen spirit while channeling Tempest Rush. And that's actually really important, because it allows you to cast Seven-Sided Strike. If you don't regen spirit while you're Tempest Rushing, having Seven-Sided Strike as part of your build might be pretty tough, and I would recommend going with a build that is Breath of Heaven, Blazing Wrath, and Fist of Thunder, Thunderclap, because Fist of Thunder is so much better at killing elite packs that having Deadly Reach Foresight will actually slow you down. So that sucks. I might do a video for that other spec as well. Alright, so this is my spec though. So I'm running these stats. I've had 120,000 DPS with my not so good Scorn. I hope to get a better one. So I'm using Scorn, I'm using a very high spirit regen, Tempest Rush crit SOJ, and that's important. The Tempest Rush crit's really key because it increases the damage of your Tempest Rush, obviously, and then also it allows you to spawn more Cyclones, and spawning Cyclones is super important to this build. And then I've got pretty straightforward all resist, fit dex, crit damage gloves. It's just important to not have attack speed, because attack speed's going to kill your spirit consumption. Just high dex, Vile Wards. Got my 18 life gem because I can't gain XP anymore. Pretty proud of that. It's an all resist, and then what you really want is the spirit regen is the most important thing. I'll be doing a second guide that shows how to sort of do this exact same thing with a little bit lower XP per hour, but for people who can't spend several 100 million gold on gear. And then obviously the full Inna set with just resist all. There's nothing special about it. It's just every piece has all resist, and it's full Inna set. And then you're going to want a 2 spirit regen, 8 crit, 8-ish crit, Zeph Ami. So, anyone that tells you that you don't need crit on this is probably wrong. It's so much better to have crit, because again, it's a Cyclone-based build, and losing out on the big crit on your amulet is a huge loss. I'm using these strong arm bracers, not because they're good, they're bad. You ideally want rare bracers that are just like these, but have Vit and 6% chance to crit. I'm using these strong arm bracers because I found them, and self-found gear is better than auction house gear, because it's cooler. I also found this Vile Ward. Yeah, so there's that. And then I'm using my completely broken, overpowered Hellfire Ring, because it's a trifecta Hellfire Ring, so I'll probably use it forever, even though I don't need XP anymore. And then I am personally using these Zunamossi's, these Legacy Zunamoss's boots, and I don't recommend these for most Tempest Rush farmers. I think that the non-Legacy Zunamoss's boots are much better because they don't have attack speed, and it's much easier to get Vit on them. They cost less, you get more elemental damage. I'm using these because I'm currently shopping for non-Legacy Zunamoss's boots. But do whatever you want. You can wear the Nat setup if you want, instead of... I guess you can't, now that I think about it. I wouldn't wear the Nat setup because you need SOJ and then you need a Hellfire Ring for the XP. So, it's pretty much between Zuni's, Ice Climbers, And if you do wear ice climbers, then this absolutely must be crit Lakwani's so that you have full run speed. And then you could also probably there's some like weird Immortal Kings setups out there. Maybe even Firewalkers if you're a fire resist monk. I don't really know. I haven't done a whole lot of research. Xenomosses I think are the best though. So that's all my gear. And yeah, so let's do this. So I've got my 13.79% spirit regenerated per second, and the basic plan will be, let's see, let's actually get the waypoint first. So this is where you'll actually start once you've run the whole route once. You'll start up here. So let's leave the game and just do it again. Oh, terrible. The whole run for me takes usually about 6 minutes. Can take a little bit more, can take a little bit less. Hopefully you can watch my XP per hour runs that I also have posted, so that you can see sort of what it looks like when I'm being timed and not when I'm explaining stuff to people. Alright, so you start off the run here, you just hit resume game, and then the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come down here, and you're going to want to auto attack this pillar, and that puts the foresight buff on you. And then you're going to want to face this way, so that your cyclones all spawn in this direction, and then you're going to want to cast Blinding Flash, Faith in the Light, Cyclone. Alright, and now you're good to go. Never let that drop. So every time you get low, so when you find your elite pack, bam! Insta-gibbet. Sweet. Thanks, SSS. So strong. So now you go to Rakkus Crossing. It's the next waypoint. And we just head down. And all your cyclones will be spawning behind you. I go over this in my mechanics video so you can see it. And what you do is you basically just run through everything. And there's a lot. So right here I don't have SSS up. So you are going to want to use Blinding Flash. I didn't immediately, but I would have instantly had I not been talking. This door can be opened for another elite. It's a really good way to get some Valor stacks quickly. Alright, do have SSS up, so just insta-kill. Didn't reach this guy, but that's fine. And so there's a lot of little mechanics things that you have to do mid-run. So like right here, that might not have been worth it, because I got hit by him, and so I got knocked back. So you have to make those kind of judgment calls. But mostly it's about trying to figure out how low you got something and whether or not it's worth going back to try and kill it. Most of the time it's probably not. Like for instance right there, you can watch this cyclone has a pretty high chance of actually killing the stuff behind me. So I watch that cyclone spawn and I think, cool, I'm done, and I just walk off. And that'll actually save you a lot of time without losing you a lot of XP. So like right there, those guys were dead without me having to go back because of the cyclones I spawned. And that'll be true a lot of the time, and it's why I think Cyclone is a really important part of the build. So as you can see, I have virtually infinite spirit. Fortune Shrines, they don't really mean anything. They're almost completely useless. Alright, so here's just a big group of mobs, and you can see, just walk through some stuff. Gotten pretty unlucky with the Cyclones, but it's nothing bad. And you know, lots of AoE damage, and things die. So we're at 3 Valor stacks so far, which is okay for Rakkus Crossing. I've been at 5 here before, for sure. And then we move into Fields of Slaughter. And you're going to want to run an S-shaped path through Fields of Slaughter. So Resplendent Chest, this is the bomb. When this happens, it's super rare, because it gives you a stack of Nephilim Valor. So now I'm going to go to instantly to 5 stacks of Nephilim Valor. And the faster you can get to 5 stacks, the more XP the run's going to give you. That's just all there is to it. If you can get 5 stacks in the first like 30 to 45 seconds, it's going to be a pretty high XP run. I have done 100 million XP per hour run before, and it was just the most fortuitous everything. I had Enlightened Shrines the entire time, and just got 5 stacks super fast, so that's all there was to it. You know, it just happened to be good mob density that game. Alright, so I don't have SSS up, so I'm going to have to kill this guy. And one thing people with lower DPS are going to want to do is they're going to want to make sure to remember to mid-run refresh the buff on Foresight, because even though it sticks with Sweeping Winds, it doesn't stick with Mantra of Conviction Submission, and it doesn't stick with the actual damage of your Tempest Rush. And with a Scorn, you know, 100,000 plus DPS, your actual Tempest Rush is hitting hard enough to kill a lot of mobs. It's really helping out with your damage. So it's not all on Sweeping Wind's shoulders. So you'll see I've run a sort of half S, and I'll run through the middle here, and then I'll run a little bit up. And the idea is so that you end up at the waypoint, so that you never have to, because if you ever have to teleport home, that means that you're going to lose your Sweeping Wind, and that's a real big downer on your XP per hour. So I'll run up here, kill these mobs. Good stuff. SSS these guys down. Alright, and then I run down. And a lot of this is just practice. You know, I've done this a lot. I've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these runs. And so you get sort of used to the pathing of everything. You get sort of used to what's the most efficient. Are there going to be a lot of monsters up there? Is it reasonably likely for me to get more XP by going up that direction? And that's sort of something you just find over time. No amount of me explaining things is going to make you good at that. So you can see I ran an S. I wish I had my mouse turned on with this fraps. But you ended up here and you cleared almost all of the map. So then you go to Tower of Curse level 1, which is where you started. And you just go up this way. And I do it this way so that I'm always running the same direction, so that my cyclones are always going behind me. So you can see, boom, just get started. Hopefully you have 5 stacks by now. Sometimes you don't. You know, sometimes runs are just really shitty. Kill these guys. Also, I don't pick up most rares. I might change that now that XP per hour doesn't matter to me. I might start picking up some rares, but we'll see. Just blinding flash these guys because I didn't have SSS up. For these guys, I don't recommend stopping to attack them because they do a lot of damage. And I just, you know, you can just do this. You can just do the wonderful little Tempest Rush in a circle plan, and it's just like it has the same principles as a Whirlwind Barb, which is you're moving while doing damage, and so mobs have a ton of trouble hitting you, and as long as your Scorn has lifesteal, you'll be gaining tons and tons of life from Sweeping Winds. So you can sort of sustain yourself through big AoE situations like that. It's also true with reflex damage for whatever reason. Reflex damage will not kill you as fast if you are if you don't have SSS up, if all you do is Tempest Rush instead of auto attack with Deadly Reach. Alright, so we're just killing stuff. For that specific map tile that I just passed, I always recommend going the route I did, where you go down, because it doesn't take any extra time, or it doesn't actually decrease your XP per hour, and it gives you a little bit extra chance to get some good mob density down there. Very frequently there will be a champion pack down in that little area. And this map is very similar to Fields of Slaughter, where once you learn it, you'll know where you should and shouldn't go. It's a straight line, so as long as you do it right, you'll never get dead-ended, and you'll end up right here. So that's good. And then we go to Keep Depths level 1. Some people like to check down here for an elite. I did it for a while, and it just didn't seem worth it, so I stopped, because there just wasn't an elite often enough. And so this is by far the most quote-unquote skill-intensive zone of this run, because it's actually random. It's not a static general map, so the tiles can be placed in really weird allocations, and that means that it's easy to get dead-ended before you've gotten the full amount of XP possible. So I'll try and go through a couple tips and tricks, but it's really just a learning process. So first tip, when you come to a place like this, a crossroads, there's 3 directions I can go, right? I can go northeast, northwest, or southwest. If you ever come to a crossroads like this, go the middle route, because it has a chance of being one leg of a square, and you always want to take the square if you can. So you'll see this is now turning left, which means that it's very likely it'll loop all the way back around to the southwest path I could have taken. And that means that you're the least likely to get dead-ended. So I see an elite pack up here, but this is not the direction I'm going to go, because I'm going to try and take the square. Wow, that was a terrible SSS. If you don't clear enough mobs around you... Oh, rubber band. When you're constantly Tempest Rushing, you don't rubber band as much. Fun fact. So I'm going to go down here, because this was the way that I sort of came from, and so I'm completing a square. And generally speaking, it's the highest XP per hour if you complete the square in this map. I know that sounds like a really weird rule. In this case, it sucked, because now I'm dead-ended. So technically the run would be over now. I would just be done, because I'm done. The other option would be to run through a very small portion of zone that you've already cleared, and do this. But see, here you go. All I did was get this little bit of map, and then I'm done. So that's it. That's the whole run. And then you leave quickly, Hit resume, and bam, you're back at it. Just start going. Get buffed up. And that's it. So that's the whole run. Do that a gajillion times, and it's the highest XP per hour that I was able to get. I am by no means going to make the assertion that it's the highest XP per hour possible for the monk class. I tried pretty hard to beat my own records while I was doing this. It was basically, how I was having fun with this game for a long time. In fact, I don't even know what I'm going to do anymore to have fun in Paragon 100. But if someone comes up with a better way, I would absolutely love to see it. So, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and I will have a bunch of timed runs posted, and then a mechanics video so you can sort of see like the life on hit values for Tempest Rush and stuff like that. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Peace.